Hello, this is Nancy and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm part of the Small Creator Sunday hosted by Tiffany at Broke Girl Aesthetic and Moxie DIY and Java. And I'm making some Valentine birdhouses. And right now I'm marking the center of these blocks that I got from Dollar Tree because I'm going to be drilling some holes in them. And then I'm filling up the holes on the birdhouses. The ones with the holes on top came from Michael's. The other ones came from Dollar Tree. And we'll let that sit down and set up and dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. I didn't have a drill at home. I only had a little small rotary tool, and I took the blocks to my dad, and he drilled in the holes that are the same size as the handles of the foam brushes from Dollar Tree that I'm using for the stands. I had my dad drill about ½ an inch into the blocks, but depending on the dowel that you use, you'll drill that hole the size of your dowel. And I'm going to use some wood glue and pour some into the hole and then hammer the dowel into place. I drilled the holes because I wanted a better, stronger base for the birdhouses instead of just gluing them on top of the blocks. I let the dowels dry for a couple hours. Then I went over the block and the dowel with the antique wax from Waverly, and I think I did 2 coats, and I let that dry. This is where your creativity comes into play. You can paint these any color you want for any holiday that you want. You can have 4 cubes, you can have 8 cubes, so it depends on what you're making it for. I use my heat gun to dry these up so I can work a little bit faster, and I'm using the Dollar Tree sanding block to rough the edges up to make it look more weathered. But this is up to you. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. It's just some ideas. Since the birdhouses themselves have a thin base, I couldn't drill to it because I wouldn't be able to glue anything into it. I'm making these little squares with the Jenga blocks or Dollar Tree tumbling tower blocks, and the dowel itself fits inside the little square inside there. So depending on the size of your dowel, you will need to change this up depending on those sizes. Once those are dry, I'm going to glue them to the bottom of each of the 4 birdhouses that I'm using. And you'll see here that I'm using a barn birdhouse, a barn looking one. I end up changing this one at the end, but it's the same difference whichever birdhouse you want to use. This also gives a better hold for the dowel that's holding the birdhouse up. I had a lot of that Paris fabric from my last Valentine DIY. I'll link that below for the heart. And I'm going to be decoupaging each of the houses with a different color or different pattern. So you can paint it here. You can decoupage napkins. You can do whatever you would like. You can even add siding if you wanted to. I was going to make the birdhouses more neutral and have the word on the base interchangeable, but I ran out of magnets and I didn't have time to get magnets. I tried the Velcro from Dollar Tree and it didn't look very nice, so I scrapped that. So I might just make different birdhouses for different occasions. Since the strips of fabric are not as tall as the house itself, the birdhouses, I'm gonna have to cut and patch some pieces right there in the point on top of the roof or the eave. And right here I am using my heat gun to remove the little perch, and I'll add the perch on to later. It makes it easier to decoupage with the flat surface instead of with the perch. Once you add the glue and decoupage on top of that with the Mod Podge, leave that to dry so you can cut it later. Here are the birdhouses finished with the fabric. Again, this is part of the Small Creator Sunday. It's for YouTubers that have less than 5,000 subscribers. If you do, send Miss Tiffany a message on Instagram and she will add you to the list next time. And each of these is different. The angles are a little harder to cut, but once you let the fabric dry, they're easy to cut off. And use a sharp finger blade that I have to make it easy to cut. Now I'm using the Apple Barrel Diva Pink, and I mix it with some of the Waverly Wax in white to make it a little less neon. And I painted the eaves, the base, the perch. I didn't paint the roof because I'm gonna add some ribbon on top of there. I know pink is not everybody's cup of tea, but you can change that up easily with a different color paint or something to match your decor. Once the paint is dry, onto the roof. I was going to use some popsicle sticks and make some shingles or something like that, but I saw this ribbon hanging from my threads, and it's a Celebrate It pack from Michaels. They have different sets. This one's in pinks. They also have blues, black and whites, golds, and I just cut some pieces to go over the roof like it was shingles. I use hot glue. And on the edges, I left it uncut for a second. You'll see why in a minute. You can even add some of that faux leather from Dollar Tree on top. There's a lot of different mediums that you can put on top of the roof there to make it fit your style. After you finish watching my video, go below to the description box to see the playlist for the rest of the content creators. And also go to Tiffany's Broke Girl Aesthetic and Michelle's Moxie DIY and Java and subscribe to their channels as well. They have a lot of great content. Once the ribbon was on, I added some fray check to the edges because this ribbon frayed a lot. So once you add the fray check, let it dry, and then you can cut it. On this house, I used the same ribbon for the whole roof, but on the other houses, I mix and match some of the different style ribbons. Once the fray check is dry, you can easily cut the edge here and it'll stay intact. Unless you want the shabby look, you can don't have to add the fray check. I forgot to show myself gluing the base to the bottom of the birdhouses, but here they are. And I'm also using some of those wood squares that I got from Selected Pandahall. I'll leave the description down below along with the item that I used. I'm adding the word love to these, and I'm using the Dollar Tree poster letters. You can use a Cricut, you can draw it yourself, or some other letters that you want to put on here. If you're loving these DIYs that are simple but give you that wow factor in your home, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends. Comment below, what color would you paint these birdhouses? And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to get notified when I upload a new video. You can also find Little Treasures by Nancy on Facebook, Instagram, and now on TikTok. Now once all your little squares are ready, I'm using the super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree and gluing them to the front of the blocks that I painted for the birdhouses. Until next time, be brave, be strong, and create with love.